Hello everyone. In this tutorial I'm going to show you how to get set up in PlasticSCM, which is a source control manager, and then how to use it to upload, check in, check out, and share everything that you've created for the project. The first thing you are going to do is you're going to go to, if you have not set it up yet, just go to Google and type in PlasticSCM, one word, and hit enter. And you are going to click on the first link. Here you will go to downloads and you will go to more installers. So again, there's a little thing down here. Do not click on this download, you don't need that. Go to more installers and install the client installer. Once you have downloaded the client installer, go ahead, run it, and install it. If it doesn't pop up for you automatically, then you can search for it, Plastic Client Configuration Wizard, and you will get this. For here, you're going to type in this information. This is the IP address, and it is a secure encrypted IP address. So all of your things are safe on this server. If one thing you can do is you can go ahead and type in this IP address :port and then click the use encryption. It should add the SSL : / for you, or you can type it in manually the full way through. But make sure that this box here is clicked and ensure that your port is 8088. The next thing I believe you can do is hit scan network. Now, forget that. That's a local network. This is if you were to set it up locally. Then you're going to type in your username that I supply you and your password that I also supply you. Then what you can do is you can hit check. This is going to give you a warning saying that it's not necessarily a secure network. Basically stating that you don't have like a certificate that this is a safe website that you're visiting or a safe IP address. It is. We own this server. So it's basically us accepting the fact that it's us. So you can go ahead and hit yes. And then once it says credentials checked OK, you can hit OK. If it did it correctly, it should pop up for you. If not, just go ahead and open up Plastic. You're going to get this same warning every time you open it up, which is fine. I will work on a way and figure out a way to get that not to show up anymore. After that is done, you will have a, let's see here, if you click on repositories, you should have something in here called default. You should also have another one in here called fight or flight content. What you'll need to do is you'll need to click on the default, right click on it, and create workspace for this repository. Now what's going to happen is it's going to say from this repository, which is our server, and then you're going to give it whatever workspace name you want. So whatever you want your project folder's name to be. So the game's name is Fight or Flight, so you can name it that, or whatever else you want. Go ahead and browse to a folder of your choice. I typically choose my second hard drive, not the one that has my operating system on it. And I'll create I created a folder, and then I called the folder Plastic. So I selected Plastic and I hit OK, and then /Fight or Flight. I don't know why. Oh, workspace name. Then you'll hit OK. I already have it, so I'm not going to hit OK, but after your workspace name is in there, the folder that you want it in is selected, hit OK. It will create a workspace. After you have done that, you can go to your workspaces. Make sure that that workspace is active. You can make it active by right-clicking on it and hitting Make Active Workspace. It'll also have parentheses next to the title telling you that it's active. Once that's active and you click on Items, you should have the entire project here. This is all of the files of the current project. If it is not in there, hit Update Workspace. It's going to confirm that you want to update and that it could take some time. You can also tell it, that you don't want to see it again, but who cares? I'll just hit OK. Now, a lot of people have been getting this issue, saying that the workspace cannot be updated since there are pending changes. This will be like sort of the next part after you do the initial update, but if that happens to you, go to Pending Changes. These are all of the changes that I have made that are pending. These are all the files in the project that I have changed that are pending. I'm going to hit check in. It basically says, hey, are you sure you want to check in? And then it's going to go ahead and it's going to upload that 10 megabytes. Okay, so after those have been changed, I can go back here and I could say update workspace. Now, of course, I'm the last one to update, so it's just going to be the same thing. But I'll hit update workspace and it updates it. When you do it for the first time, this should show up for the first time. It will take a very long time your first time around because it is downloading about 2.1 gigabytes worth of assets, scripts, the entire project. Now, to open this project, you will need Unity 5. So, when you open Unity, I'm going to go ahead and just close it real quick. When you open Unity, you're going to go to Open. You're going to click the Open button here, and you're going to go to that folder. You want to go to the folder that's right above Assets, Library, Projects. So I would click on Fight or Flight, and I would hit Select Folder. When you hit Select Folder, it will open up that project. When it opens up that project, you will have everything that I have. Now, how do you make changes? How do I upload my changes? How do I upload new models I've created, changes from my scripts, etc.? That's pretty simple. I'll go ahead and I'm going to go in here and I'm just going to add a script called test script. Now it's new. It's a new script that wasn't there before. Now when I go back to Plastic, I will go to the same exact folder that was in Unity, and you will see that there is a new file right here called test script. Now you will notice that under status it says private. This means it will not be uploaded to the server, meaning that every time that I check in and I update my information to the server, this will not be added to it. Of course, it probably is something that should be added. So in order to do that, you can right click and you can say add to source control. When it adds it to source control, you can do the same thing for the meta file as well, but when you add it to source control, it's going to say that it's checked out, which basically means that you're currently editing it. It does not mean that you've literally checked it out. It does not mean no one else can change it. It just means that Plastic, this source control manager, is going to it just knows that you've been working on that file, so it's going to immediately look at that file for changes instead of having to search the very large folder system to look for all the changes. It will know any changes that you've made already. When you're done, you can go ahead and hit check-in. It has the two files that have been added to there, and for the scripts there. Make sure that they're all checked and hit check-in. Now when you check it in, this does not mean, and this was a big issue, this does not mean it's actually been checked in to the server. It just means that it's been added to your source control. It has been added to your local project. It has been checked back in to your project. To check it in to the main project, the project on the server, you need to go to Pending Changes. Under Pending Changes, you will see here under the Added part that I have added 2 files. I'm going to make sure that all of these are checked, and I'm going to hit check in. and it's going to upload all of these files. These are also deleted. You don't have to worry about these. If you've deleted something, it's fine. Another way to check in after you've been working on a project for a really long time is to just click on the top folder and hit check in. This will check in everything. There's nothing that I need to check in right now. Whenever you come in for on a new day, other people have made changes, you're going to want to hit update workspace. This will pull any changes that have been made online and add them to your project. If I go to pending changes now, there's nothing because I haven't added anything or I haven't checked anything in my local project that has changed. Now, the issue of merging and working and uploading can cause quite a few issues. So I'm going to go over branches. I just did this earlier to test it out after doing some reading to see how it works. So here is the main branch. And you're going to see all these little blue bubbles. By the way, to get here, you click on the Branch Explorer up here. You can also look at it in a boring text way by clicking on branches above that, but the Branch Explorer is all you're going to need. Up top, it shows you the date that all of these changes were added. Each one of these is called a change set. This means that changes have been made. Even no matter how big or small the change is, whenever someone checks in a change, this is where it shows up. It even shows the owner of the change. So here, I see the owner of this change was Gen P. It says, adding final IK so everyone can play with it. Phil, I'm sure you want to check it out. LOL. This happened on October 9th, 2015. This was the 5th change that ever happened to the project. Let's say I actually wanted to look at the changes that were made in this project. I double click on it and it opens it up. This shows me all of the files and folders that Jen had added to the project on that date. Now, of course, you're probably not ever going to need to do this, but you never know. If a file gets corrupted because of an update, you can always go back. I can update on the provider of that software. You can go back to a previous version and pull out the file that was working. You can also view the file down here. To get out of that, you can go ahead and just exit out that window. Now, I want to create my own task branch. This basically means, like, let's say I have a task that needs to be done. I'm going to branch it out. Let's say my task is I want to add in terrain, a terrain tool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click on this home button. This home button is basically the latest change to the project. I'm going to right click on it and I'm going to create a branch from this change set. I'm going to name it test branch 2 for now. Now if I were working on terrain, I would probably call it like the terrain, add in terrain branch or something. And you can make comments for the reason for the task or anything like that. And you can hit OK. When you hit OK, it creates a branch. Now you have to switch to this branch. I'm not on this branch right now. If I make any changes and I add them, it's going to add another blue bubble to the right here, not from here. So I'm going to right click on it and I'm going to say switch workspace, which is my local workspace, to this branch. Now, the home button changes to this branch. Here's the really cool thing. Other people are working on this main branch. So what happens is, if they make changes, these blue bubbles keep moving. Mine sits here. I make changes and the blue bubbles move to the right like this. Once I am done with my task, I will merge my bubble back into the main branch. And I will be the one responsible for merging the files, instead of somebody else responsible for merging the files. So for example, let's say Jen was making changes here. Do. There'd be a bunch of changes in there. Now I'm going to pull in my changes and pull them into the front here, so that I'm adding in terrain later in the project. But every time I changed and updated my project, it did not need to affect the main branch. I did not need to continuously update the main branch. I didn't need to clutter up the main branch with little tiny changes from scripts. Just one big major change, like I've added in terrain, or I've added in 10 new levels, or I've added in 3 new characters. So to show you how this works, I'm going to go ahead, I've switched to this branch. So to go over it one more time, I right-clicked on the the main branch that I was on, which is where this home button was, and I created a new branch from that change set. It created this. I then right-clicked on that branch, and I went and said switch to workspace, or switch workspace to this branch. These can get pretty crazy too. I could create a child branch of this branch, so if I had a task within a task, I could do that. I don't see any reason to do that yet for the foreseeable future, but you can do that. Other people can even assign themselves to those tasks. For example, if me and Tommy were working on this project together, and I needed a new set of scripts created, but I needed them based off of my branch, I could create a child branch, giving Tommy a workspace to use to create and finish his part. He would then merge it back into my branch, and then when I'm done with my branch, I would merge it back into the main branch. So to show you how this works, I'm going to go ahead and go back to Unity, and I'm going to add something to that test script that I had added earlier. I'm going to add a integer test variable equals 10. That's it. I'm going to save it, and I'm going to go back to Plastic. When I go back to items and I open up that folder, which is under assets, scripts. Now you don't have to actually search all the way down through the folder each time. You can just click on the very top folder and check that in. As you can see here, test script has been changed as its status states. Also, it has a darker blue check mark in it saying that it has been changed. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to right click on it and hit check in. This is going to check it in, saying that I'm done making changes to it. So it's changing my project. I am then going to go to my pending changes, and here it's going to show that I made a pending change to a script, and I'm going to check it in. Now after I'm done checking it in, I'm going to go back to my branch explorer, and as you can see, I have made a new change set. I am now on a new update. This change, and I'll double click on this to show you. This is what it was in the previous one. Down here, now this doesn't necessarily apply to the artists. This is mostly for scripters, but just to show you what it's talking about here is when I clicked on that previous branch, the one I had made, the very first one I had branched off, this was what was in the script looked like. Then I updated it. Now it looks like this. So it shows you the changes that have been made over time. But that's just to show you like what the change sets mean. So this was the first change set, and then this is the change set I just made. Now I made that change. Now I want to upload it to the main branch so other people can have it. Now if, for example, Jen, let's say, right-clicked on this here and had switched to this workspace, and it wasn't her workspace, like it wasn't her branch, she would then get my project. She would no longer have her project from wherever she was at. She could always jump back to her project later, but she could, and she could update her workspace, and then she would have my project. But for all intents and purposes, I don't think we should be doing that. You can make your own task branches and do that, unless there was something broken. Like if Jen came to me and she said, "I made my own task branch. I started to work on characters, and the script is all screwed up." I could jump into hers and I could upload a script to it, and then I could upload that so she gets a fixed script on her branch. Anyways, to merge this back into the main branch, I'm going to right click on this, and I'm going to say advanced merge, merge from this change set to the main branch. I'm going to click OK. Now it's gonna. Now this is the merging section here. It's saying, hey, there's all these merges that need to take place. The only merges, it says changes only in source contributors, so I just need to make the merges here. I just said process all merges because I updated the merges myself, so I understand what's going on. Now it's been merged. Now when I go back to the branch explorer, that this project has now been merged back into the main branch. Take heed though, I have updated the main branch by merging my things into the main branch, but my workspace is not in the main branch. If I want to switch back to the main branch, I mean, don't get me wrong, I could keep working on this single branch and just keep swinging in updates to the main branch if I want to. But I'm just going to go ahead and switch back to the main branch. And to do that, it's the same thing. Switch workspace to this change set. Now I'm back in that change set. Now if I go to items, I can go ahead and right click and hit check in. There's nothing to check in. Everything's already been merged. If I go down here, I should see my test script. In fact, should be able to open it and review it. No, I guess not. Or preview. Preview. You can preview art in here. I haven't showed that yet, but you can preview art in here as well. So if there's a file and you're like, wait, what is that file? I just opened that file a bunch of times. So what is that file? What's going on? I don't remember this. You can click on it and you can view it. Now this is only for 2D art. It's not going to show 3D art. But just to show you this, I'm going to click on UI and I'm going to click on Karma, and it shows the texture. It gives you all the information too, when it was created, when it was modified, to Photoshop, ICC profile, all that stuff, pixels per unit, the whole shebang. And that is all you really need to do. You hit update workspace to update your workspace. After I updated my workspace, it's going to show, let's see here, the test script is still in there, the test script that I had merged. It even shows you which branch it's on. The main test branch too. And that is all you really need to know to create or use Plastic. Now the cool thing is you can also make your own repositories. I've already added in one called Fight or Flight Content, which you should have after you've gotten into Plastic. So you also need to create a new workspace for each one of these repositories. If you want to view one of those other workspaces, for example, this one is my Unity project. If I wanted to view the Fight or Flight content instead, I would right click on it, hit Make Active Workspace, go to Items, and now it's that folder system. Now if I hit Update Workspace, there is still nothing in here. No one's added anything to it. I created this repository specifically for things like Maya files, ZBrush files, Photoshop files, any currently in work project or content that you're working on, such as just any concepts or just models in progress, textures in progress. That is what this repository is for, just so that we're not flooding the Unity project with ZBrush files. That it would just seem weird to have ZBrush files in there. But if you wanted to create a new repository, you just need to click on New Repository. It's going to already input the server that we already have in there. Just name whatever you want it to name it and hit OK. After that is going to create the new repository. You will then need to create the workspace for that repository and you're done. Now you have a completely separate folder, project, and repository for that. Do note that any repositories you do add to here will everyone else will see them. You could do, I believe, yeah, you can do permissions on here. You can add, yeah, you can add it in here, and you can make it to where you're the only one that can mess with it. So everyone should be paying $10 as a user for this per month to use this. I have set it up for you, but the license does cost money. So the $10 might not seem like, or it might seem too much just for this project or for what you're doing, but you can use it as source control for anything of yours. Just create your own repository and put your content in there. We do have a server limit right now. It's 30 gigabytes. So if you plan on putting a lot of gigs on the server, please let me know so that we can plan out how much money that's going to cost for the server. It is free up to 30 gigs. It's really not too terribly much after that, but just let me know. I want everyone to use this to their heart's desire for everything, for their portfolios, for their personal work, and for our projects. If you have any questions, please let me know.